Welcome to a Forage a Day. Greetings! Today we forage some rose hips. I'm going to show you how you make Rosehip Lipbalm. Incredibly good for the lips, good for your skin. We're going to be using freshly foraged rose hips. I'm going to be doing a mix of coconut oil and some natural beeswax, some very good quality beeswax, organic and very good quality coconut refined oil. So it doesn't leave a nasty taste basically. So I'm going to show you how we do it. So first we need to create a double boiler. We don't want the oil to burn, so we're going to smelt the oil down. So if you don't have a double boiler like me, these are for foraging, these are my older pans. I create a pan in a pan with water in the bottom of the first pan. Now we're going to put our coconut oil in there and our coconut oil in there to melt down, and some beeswax. So that's roughly, it's not compacted down, so I'd say that that's roughly about just over 3/4 of a cup full of coconut oil. So this is roughly just over 3/4 of a cup of coconut oil. Obviously it's not compacted down, so roughly around that amount. So I've just grated this beeswax into this cup. So usually you want to use a ratio with coconut oil and beeswax of sort of 1 tablespoon to half a tablespoon of beeswax. So it's 1:2. So roughly just under half a cup. But follow your heart with it. You know, you don't want the lip balm that when it, you know, if there's heat, if it's hot in the summer, you don't want it to go runny, and you certainly don't want it too hard. So just follow your heart with it. And what is also essential at this point is that you turn your oven on. While this is melting down, the oven needs to go on and to heat up, because when this is being brought down and it's all melted, we're going to infuse the rose hips into the oil. And what we're going to do is we're going to heat the oven up, and then when we're leaving it to steep, it's going into a warm oven because we turn the oven off then. So at this point you need to heat your oven up. So why are we using rose hips today? As well as you can ingest rose hips through the form of tea or making jellies, jams, things like that, they're also very good for skin health, very good for heart health, but we're concentrating on skin. They're a brilliant source of vitamin C, and they also rehydrate the skin. They produce collagen, anti-inflammatory properties in them, also antibacterial properties in them. So we're making a lip balm today, obviously because it's winter and we're using what we're foraging for the winter. People get chapped lips and things like that, but it's very, very good for joint pain as well. You don't have to use this as lip balm. You can rub it on your joints as well, and it will help effectively to reduce inflammation. And as I say, it's a great thing, the rosehip. So this is about the right consistency. We'll take it off the heat now. So we use a double boiler because we don't want to burn the oil. We don't want to heat it to its burning point. So this is why we use a double boiler, but I know it's steaming, but that's the consistency. Obviously it's all melted, and that's what we're after. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add the rose hips to this oil, and then we're going to get a fork or a masher and just mash them down a little bit so it releases all the goodness. You don't want it to an absolute pulp, you're just going to lightly mash them. So that's basically what I've done, just release some of them, left them, but they're going to infuse nicely now. So at this point, turn your oven off. You don't want the oven on. The point of it is that so they can infuse without the oil solidifying for about 4 to 5 hours. So I'm going to pop a lid on this pan, and we're going to put it in the oven now, and you just let it sit, let it rest for a good 4 hours, and just keep a check on it. So it's now pretty much, I've left it 5 hours, so we're 5 o'clock at night, and this has all been infused now, so I'm going to strain it. So I've just got a dishcloth. You can use muslin or anything. I'm going to strain it through because there could be hairs and anything on it from obviously the rosehip and stuff like that. We need to fine strain it. You can strain it through, that's fine, but you need to fine strain it. So I'm just using a dishcloth and we'll just... So this is what we're left with, the actual coconut oil beeswax with rosehip, infused with so much goodness. And I'm going to pour it. But before we pour it, I'm going to add another ingredient. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to infuse the oil with some cocoa butter essential oil, some really good quality stuff. So because rosehip is a very fruity sort of scent to it, like a raspberry or a strawberry, making a lip balm, I thought I needed to add something that was like that. So it's like raspberry and chocolate or strawberry and chocolate. Now you can add, instead of using coconut oil and beeswax, you can add cocoa butter and completely eliminate this process. Or you could add almond butter or something like that. But I do love the combination of organic, pure coconut oil and beeswax. It just seems to work, you know, with joint pain and stuff like that. It just seems to work better. So this as a lip balm will be fantastic. So I'm going to add some of this now. Follow your heart. Probably about 10 drops. So there's my lip balm set. And I got about 4 more out of it. But I'm just going to... I've got 4 in the fridge. They're going to set really quick. But I'm leaving these to set on their own naturally. So I find it better that way. So we'll see you with the finished product.